Good morning, everyone. This is Ryan Ender with your Wednesday, October 2nd morning commentary with a lot of people getting ready or already set to go with harvest, just waiting for the rains. Let's take a first look at the maps themselves. Let's start here with the 1 to 5 day. This map here obviously still showing a solid amount of rain, but what we're about to see here is that while this is some active rains, and this will definitely be enough to keep people off for a few more days, it is the last major system to come through the Midwest. So let's look here at the totals and see that off to the west, maybe the system's already moved through, so now it's working its way through the rest of the Midwest as we see on this map. And avoiding some areas to the east, which will be important as we flip over to the next map here. And now we're flipping over the 6 to 10 day. We see that not all areas are dry, obviously, but for about 2/3 of the harvest areas and weed areas, definitely finally a clearing in the forecast. This is what obviously everyone will want to see this time of year. Definitely a needed clearing. And while we don't have the 11 to 15 day map here in this commentary, let's also point out that that map as well stays generally dry. So maybe, again, that rains that we saw on that 1 to 5 day map is the last major system we will be having for a while for harvest. Now let's flip over to the charts. Let's first look at the December corn chart. We filled the chart gap yesterday on this December corn chart. That was a much looked at objective for the upside. So now that we've done that, let's look at 2 points that could be support if we see a technical correction. We see a high at 381 here a couple months ago and the recent high at 377.5. So we'll say on a technical correction, a pullback around 380 is possible. Maybe we won't pull back that far due to the last USDA report, but we want to point out what the chart levels would be. We've also seen fund short covering here the last 2 sessions, so technical pullback is most likely for these markets, unless funds come in here and continue short covering, especially in corn, where they still hold a pretty decent short position. So we'll see what we get here today, but there's your technical levels to look at. Now let's do the same thing over here in the November bean chart. No chart gap to go up to and fill, but still, if we're going to have a technical correction, November beans show that the most recent high at 904 3/4 would be your obvious target. But now look to the left of this chart. We'll point out the 3 levels here on this chart that are going to be upcoming resistance. 924 would probably be a relatively minor resistance. 936.5 could be pretty decent. And then obviously the high here so far this summer in November beans at 948. That would obviously be strong resistance if we make it up there. So there's your technical levels on the beans as well. Briefly to mention the funds, they don't hold nearly as big of a short position in the beans as they do the corn, so we could see light fund short covering, but for the bean market, maybe not nearly the influence from the funds there that we could see in the corn. Flipping over to cattle, just a couple quick notes. National show list plus 26,500. That would normally imply a $1 to $2 cash trade. That's what makes yesterday's setback actually seem optimistic. On a $1 to $2 potential setback, December futures were only down 47.5 cents, finishing at 109.825. We might still expect a little bit larger of a setback than that, but obviously this is futures showing that they're still looking on the optimistic side for cattle. So we'll see what we get for starting bids. One thing we do want to quickly point out for cattle, we do not see this as a delayed seasonal setback. We were expecting larger numbers for some time, but we think that time has already come and gone. So we see this higher show list as just a 1-week event, as you would normally see after seeing a number of lower show lists in a row. So as we always do Wednesday morning, let's see what we get for starting bids from the majors, keeping in mind that last week's cash trade was just a little bit over 103.